Well, usually on the first Sunday of the month, we obviously have Youth Sunday. We've got our youth readers. Thank you so much to Reagan and Barbara and Faith for reading today. And typically I do more of a storytelling version of the gospel instead of processing out. And then we have time to sort of discuss in smaller groups. But I know that this season has been a lot of talking and socializing. And I know that some folks are eager to have a little bit of a rest. So we're doing just kind of a classic sermon this morning, giving you an opportunity to sit and listen instead of having to talk with your neighbor some more. But I do encourage you to join us for our potluck after the service to chat a little bit with your neighbors then. So from Advent, remember we started Advent back on November 30th. We heard invitations to seek clarity, to stay awake, and to let the season disrupt the status quo, and to prepare our hearts as a dwelling place for Christ's light. And then Christmas came, and Christmas calls us to rejoice with the incarnation, the life that is the light of all people, the one for whom all things came into being, and to see that light in our own hearts and in the eyes of our neighbor, the stranger, and even the enemy. And now we step into Epiphany. And the temptation is to settle back into the routine, into business as usual, as if nothing has changed through Advent and through the wonder of Christmas. But the Magi don't let us do that. Their arrival gives us a powerful example of what it means to be changed by encountering Christ. I mean, yes, literally for them, they were changed by meeting the child of Jesus, but also spiritually, that we are changed by recognizing God's presence in unexpected places and people. They were so moved by coming face to face with love that they went home by another road. They chose non-participation in a system of violence, fear, and domination. Rejecting Herod's demands, they refused to cooperate with his fear and with oppression, and they chose a more excellent way. We too always have that choice. In the words of St. Paul, love is a more excellent way. But how do we choose it? It requires awareness, a readiness to see love in the eyes of the other, just as the Magi saw love in infant Jesus, and a willingness to notice within ourselves the things that then interrupt that seeing. We may begin with the intention of openness, but then we hear someone's accent, and our social conditioning rushes in, and suddenly we have othered someone. Or we see a team jersey, and we fall into patterns of rivalry. Or we notice a luxury car, and we slip into worthiness hierarchies, less than, better than. We miss the turn toward a more excellent way any time that we stay on the well-worn road of deserving, other, or power over. That is the road that Herod wanted the Magi to travel with him on. His fear of losing status and control was so consuming that it led to the slaughter of innocent children. And the Magi knew that cooperating, even quietly, would make them participants in that violence. Herod embodied the hierarchy and domination and self-protection, that terror that still scars our world. And we see its echoes today in our own lives, communities, and nations. Whenever self-centered fear keeps the divots of this road well worn, even in our hearts. I don't know how many of you have ever been to the Oregon Trail. Not just play the game. Not too far from where I grew up in Spokane, there's the town of Walla Walla, Washington. And I know some of you are familiar with this area. It's very much a desert. It's known for its sweet onions and wine. The Oregon Trail went through Walla Walla. And when you visit the Whitman Mission even today, you can walk along the trail that thousands of wagons covered. And they are so well worn, these divots, that if you were to try and actually drive on that route today, you would need a lot of strength to not slip into those well-worn wagon treads. And this is the challenge that we have too, to not slip into the well-worn divots of our minds and human conditioning that would have us easily hate, discriminate, or judge worthiness. Divots that try to contain us within social norms and mindsets of fitting in with power structures. And we can feel it. When we've let ourselves slip into those divots, we know when we are just going along for the sake of our own self-centered concern. I can feel it. It's like I'm watching myself, and I know that I am making a decision not based on my faith or based on seeing Christ's light, but I'm doing something just for the sake of fitting in, being seen, or feeling important. There was one time in middle school, among many, where I was trying really hard to fit in. I had started in a new school, and I didn't know anyone, and I was really starting to be seen as kind of a nerd, because I had a lot of books, and I was sort of a teacher's pet, so it didn't do much for my street cred. So I intentionally made a decision, and I knew how weird this felt, but I thought, I'm going to speak differently. Because I knew that if I could maybe sound a little bit more like my classmates, maybe I would fit in. But it wasn't natural at all, and it just came out sounding ridiculous. And my teacher looked at me very funny and said, Amy, did you just use the word ain't? It did not sound good. And I laughed. I mean, everybody was trying things like that out. And I just wanted to fit in those divots like everyone else. To look the same, to sound the same. I never wore my favorite overalls again because someone told me they looked nerdy. And I wish that I could say that after middle school I had it all figured out. That I learned once and for all it was never worth trying to become someone I'm not, or dimming Christ's light in me just to be seen and accepted by others. But the truth is, we keep wrestling with those divots of Herod's fear long after adolescence. We try to spend our money like other people, talk politics like other people. We try to grieve like other people in 7 neat stages. We try to have faith like other people, without questions or doubts, and we even judge our neighbors like other people, gossiping behind their backs, all in quiet attempts to secure our belonging, protect our image, and avoid the ache of feeling small or unseen. We're always shown, this is another example, we're always shown how weddings need to be big, boisterous events full of food and people. When our friends started getting married, we saw a lot of that. But when Cody and I started thinking about our own wedding, we realized that that wasn't for us. And at the fork in the road, we chose a more excellent way for us. And we eloped. To many very different reactions. But those who loved us, who saw us as beloved, they were thrilled. They were so grateful that we could let Christ's light shine authentically for us. And those who thought we should have followed a divoted wedding path of wedding extravaganza extravaganza, they were disappointed. And we had to face that. But our groundedness in the path of love gave us the strength to turn against the norm and to choose a more excellent way for us, and then to face those who couldn't even imagine our route. So how do we choose a more excellent way? How do we allow Advent's disruption and Christmas's light to take root in Epiphany? And this is our work, to let ourselves be changed by love so much that we will take a different path. The work is not about perfection, but awareness. The moment we notice ourselves getting tightened around comparison, bracing for fear, or slipping into old reflexes of judgment, we are already at that fork in the road. And awareness is the pause that makes freedom from the divots possible. It is these grace-filled instances when we can say, I don't have to go that way. I don't have to follow that path. This small noticing, without shame, without self-attack, is how Christ's light interrupts the momentum of those divots and opens space for a different choice that is more gentle towards ourselves and more loving of one another. Like the Magi, we are tempted in everyday divots that pull us away from belovedness. The anger that flares in traffic, the frustration at how someone else in the family loads the dishwasher, the quiet bitterness when we are passed over or we feel unseen. And these small crossroads are where we decide, again and again, whether we will continue by the old road or whether we will choose another way, shaped by love. So take a moment. I've just got 2 questions, and again, you don't talk to your neighbor about it. Just think for your own self. What are the specific divots in your own life that you notice? The well-worn habits, judgment, fear, or comparison that you tend to slip into without noticing. And how might you let the disruption of Advent and the joy of Christmas actually change your Epiphany so that you can step out of those pivots and follow the example of the Magi, to follow the way of love? What will it take to support you in that new route? Because it is hard to not slip into those divots. We have a community of support here, but we know we are all trying this work together. Never feel like you are doing this alone. And there is strength